So, I guess I'm not a runner anymore. Like, I mean, I am running right now, but in the interim between stopping daily vlogging and today, I got a trainer and a nutritionist, started a new fitness program and a diet, and I'm really enjoying it. But one of the things they asked me to do was to stop running, basically. And honestly, I was actually kind of excited to do that. The thing is that in my identity, I'm a runner, and yet that's an identity I'm kind of willing to just throw away. And on the other side, in my identity, there's a lot of food-oriented things. That I found to be more emotionally tricky, at least at the start. And I kind of wanted to explore that with you today because there are a lot of identity changes going on. And as somebody, I've experienced a lot of identity change in my life. That's why I kind of identified, no pun intended, the whole emotion around food being an identity change moment. And it really interested me. And I thought I would share that with you. So let's talk about that today, while I also tell you about a few announcements that are going to be coming up, some exciting stuff that I'll give you the inside track on because, well, hey, you're here and I appreciate it. And I got to go do the workout that my trainer labeled Abs of Steel, which I find really funny, and I only wish I had a VHS tape for it. Otherwise, let's go. So basically, if you know anything about my history, I lost a whole bunch of weight after COVID because I gained like 20 pounds in lockdown. Not great. So I lost like 50 pounds in 2021 into 2022. And, you know, skinny down and then have built up some muscle, but I've also added a little bit more fat to that. So the first step is to lose a little bit of that fat if we can. I guess we'll see how far that goes. And then build muscle again. And for muscle building, running, admittedly, is not really your friend. And it's probably one of the reasons that I haven't put on quite as much, or at least as much volume as would be the goal. Also, I'm only supposed to be doing this for 20 seconds, and I have no idea how long I've been doing it. So I'm gonna guess it's been at least 20 seconds. Anyway, for the fitness side of things, like I was really craving a change anyways. I was getting pretty sick of the machine routine I was doing. I was doing the same like 3 days endlessly. It made it easier. It was actually less boring when I started doing it every day than when I was doing it just 3 times a week. But still, I felt like I needed a change. So what's funny about it is that I found it really easy to stop running. Like honestly, I've been running a lot for years. I don't know, maybe a decade. And so when he asked me to like give up running, or effectively dial it way back, I was honestly kind of ready. But I do still run to and from the gym just because it's faster, and we're in the weight loss section. Once we get to the actual muscle building section, I'm probably gonna have to like ride my bike to the gym. But the food emotionally was a surprise, both for difficulty and again, actually for ease. The mango and the spinach don't combine to make a very appealing color, but it's delicious. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably associate me with some degree to coffee. And the idea of giving up coffee, as an example, would cause a little bit of an identity crisis for me. Because then I'd be like, well, then what do? How do I warm up in the morning? Where do I go when I want to go sit and talk to friends or write if I'm not going to go to a coffee shop to drink coffee? And obviously you can walk that through and be like, wait, they have more than coffee at coffee shops if you enjoy going to coffee shops for their own sake. Similarly, going into this, like I've known for a while that I wanted to cut a little bit, like I wanted to lose a little bit of fat in this whole journey of like trying to build muscle, lose fat, build muscle, lose fat, and see where it takes us. And that was the part that scared me the most, was like, oh, if we start this, I'm gonna have to actually, go back on a bit of a diet. And that makes you feel like, well, but what about all the things that I love, all the things that I enjoy? And even more importantly on the food front, like if I'm gonna take a break from eating stuff like this, how am I even gonna be able to do my job? How's that? That's the tastiest kind of sandwich around. Especially with work, this has become one of the hard things for me to reconcile in the past. If you've been following my channel for a while, the identity of being like the Paris guy or a Paris guy, Like, I came here just to live here. Like, I love living here. I love this city. I love eating here. And the idea of being wrapped up in that identity was something that I resisted for a long time, which ties directly into the little announcement that we have to make today. Well, we can make it later too if you'd like, but I figured we'd talk about it today. Merci. I've been working a ton on the guide behind the scenes, obviously. We announced the interactive map, like what, 2 weeks ago, something like that? Have made some huge improvements to already. Lots going on, getting lots of photos, but I've been working on something else behind the scenes that might interest some of you even more. And this part's gonna be for my vlog. This is just an aside, but I don't have my keys. I had to drop Cooper off because we're going to London tomorrow. And when I went to leave, I realized I didn't have my keys in my pocket. So I'm hoping that they're just in my door, that I just left them in the rush to get out. Because if not, yikes. So I've been filming a lot over the last few weeks, but not for vlogs. I was vlogging yesterday and today. This video is a 2-day extravaganza, and I'm about to find out if I locked myself out of my apartment, in which case it's gonna be really hard to edit this. And also, I'm leaving for London in the morning. This evening is about to get very complicated if I don't have my keys, but I'm getting distracted. The exciting thing is what I've been filming for has been a brand new Paris in my pocket YouTube channel. Because the thing is, if you come to my channel because you are interested in Paris, maybe you're visiting and you just want that information, clicking through to my channel is not gonna, you're gonna be like, why is he sad? I just wanted to find out more about the Eiffel Tower. I've been aware of this for a long time, and the thing is, I've resisted it because the way that I always vlogged, the way that I always, perceived myself, and the way that I proceeded with how I went about doing this was very much like it was a personal project. When I started vlogging daily, I didn't live in Paris yet. I had lived here before, but I hadn't come back yet. And it was really just trying to tell the story of my life. Like, I was very inspired on that side, and that identity of being a daily vlogger really stuck with me. And at the beginning of this year, when I went to scratch that itch again and just to see, like, how is this? Like, is this what I really want to do? Do I want to be a daily vlogger? Do I want to go back to that lifestyle? I had a really good time doing it, but I discovered that no. Maybe in spurts, I could definitely come back to it. I do enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it, but definitely not as like a permanent, ongoing lifestyle. And it was really good to get that answer. And the thing was, the Paris guy identity, the one that I've been resisting this whole time, the one that I've said no to consistently and tried to kind of polarize people away from, that's the one that I'm realizing, like, dude, why not? I love this city, I love exploring it, and I love helping people enjoy the city as much as I do in the parts of the city that aren't Trocadero. Why don't we do more of that? We can be the Paris guy, but not do the stereotypical things, not do the stuff everybody does, do the stuff that I actually love, and share Paris with you the way that I love it. And so we're gonna be launching that channel here very soon, and that's the announcement. Should I put a link below for you? There's no content on it, but if you wanted to be the first subscribers to that channel, I guess you could do that. We should probably go find out if I'm locked out of my apartment though. All right, now for the moment of truth. Oh, my door is completely open, so yeah, well, thankfully nobody stole my gym clothes, so that's a win. Well, that's not bad news. Just not ideal. Not exactly my brain is completely scrambled. Anyway, on the identity side, I think it's safe to say that sometimes the resistance that we have to it can be a good thing. It can let us know that there's something there. And I don't think that the resistance means that we shouldn't discard an identity. I think it's a sign that there's something to it, whether we keep it or not. Anytime you feel that resistance, that fear of losing something, it is exactly where you should be looking to see where you need to grow. And so in the food side of things, that fear was just because I didn't want to let go of some of the foods that I love and the way that I kind of identify with things like beer or cookies, things that I'm worried I'm going to have to say no to for a while. But the reality is I just need to develop a healthier relationship with those things. I don't have to get rid of them. I don't have to give them up entirely. But maybe I should be a little bit more conscientious about how I consume them. On the other side, when you have the Parisian thing, being the Paris guy, which I honestly think is way too high of a title anyways, the anything, but being a Paris guy, having that be kind of a one-dimensional representation of who I was something that really actually has bothered me for ever since I moved back here. I mean, I've resisted it because I realize this now. I didn't know this before. I always wanted to be seen and to be recognized, to be appreciated for who I was. And the reality is that I saw the whole being the Paris guy thing as the opposite of that. I saw that as just seeing me for where I lived instead of who I was. And from a business perspective, of course, it makes way more sense to home in on that than it does to reject it as I have done, but I needed to do some work before I got there, and I'm glad that I have. And maybe I missed some sort of a boat in the process, but guess we'll find out. If you'd like to support that new channel, that new endeavor, again, you can subscribe below. My patrons, like Fred Hayes, today's patron producer, got a preview and they got to get in on that earlier. They've actually had even more of a preview than even I think a lot of them realize, but we'll be dropping those here really soon. So for those of you that are really excited just to get a lot of good Paris content, that'll be coming. And there are thousands of people who have come and gone because they wanted Paris stuff and didn't want the behind the scenes of this weird guy's life in Paris, and so they never came back. But don't worry, the Jay Swanson, this channel that you're subscribed to right now, assuming you're subscribed, are you subscribed? Could you subscribe? This channel will always be just whatever's interesting me, whether that's a little bit of daily vlogging or travel vlogging or playing with my dog, workouts, who knows? It'll just be whatever kind of floats my boat at the time. So if that's what you're here for the long run, that is what this channel will be, I imagine, forever. And I'm not going anywhere. Even if I take breaks, I'm still working behind the scenes. I will take more vacations in the future, I'm sure, but I've been working hard on this project and I hope that you enjoy it when it drops. And I will see you over there soonish, but I'll see you back here much sooner because, we got to go find Cooper a new leash in London. Is that why we're going to London?